hopeless, healing from hopelessness, meaning getting back hope lost. Getting back hope lost. The topic is healing from hopelessness. If you really want to break it down, what we are talking about is the factor of hope in the healing process, the component of hope in the healing process. In other words, what role does hope play in healing and treatment? Or if you want to take it the other way, what role does being hopeless play in our lack of success or our not succeeding in our treatment? If you are a counselor, you're a coach, a pastor, a leader, however you have a mentor, instilling hope is a component, it's a cardinal point, or it's a cardinal factor in your treatment regimen. You have to give people hope. And a lot of people that come to you are there because somehow, their hope is shaking. Their hope is shaking. And hope is believing that things will get better. Believing that things will get better. Believing that where you are today is not the end of your story. It doesn't matter how bad it is. It doesn't matter how good it is. But where you are is temporary. That's what hope means. Now, for those who are Christians, I'm hearing some scratches. For those who are Christians, the question is, what is the difference between hope and faith? And if you're a Christian, you know that the Bible says without faith, it's impossible to please God. So that's as essential as it is for Christians. And in carnal world, in secular world, hope is a factor of healing. Why? Because hope generates resiliency. Hope generates patience and perseverance. Hope generates motivation. If people lack hope, they're not going to be able to have any of this. I deal with a lot of people who have trauma, who have gone through one form of trauma or the other. Usually when we start, they are in that space of hopelessness and helplessness. And that's a very bad place to be. So my job is, what can I do to give this person reason to even listen to me and take what I'm going to offer? That's my first priority. Now, this person, whose word is that? Usually when they come, they don't make eye contact. They are sad. You can see it all over them. They are coming from that space, whether it's trauma or depression or psychosis, whatever it is. And even the family members who are coming with them are looking onto you, hoping that you have the magic wand, because whatever they have, they tried at home, it hasn't worked. So they come to me, and at that point, we're looking, what do we do? What do I do to get this person to believe that tomorrow will be there? And that's hope. There are a few things that we do, but the first thing that I wanted to emphasize is the importance of hope in recovery process. That you need to generate it when people are hopeless. They're really not going anywhere. So what do we do? Where do I start? If you are a Christian, the temptation is to go spiritual, to talk about the power of God, the love of God, the goodness of God, and all that. That's the temptation. And it's good for someone who is a Christian. But oftentimes, when even strong and committed Christians are in a dark spot, they are also doubting God. They're wondering whether God is there for them or whether God is there at all. So often, going there may not be the most effective thing to do. I'm not saying in all cases, but often It's not the most effective thing to do. If people have prayed, if people have fasted, if people have done all spiritual exercises and it hasn't worked for them, and they come to you and you're giving them what they've already tried, and supposedly they are not getting results, it's not going to move the needle a whole lot. It's not going to move the needle a whole lot, but it will. If we follow things sequentially. Now, those who are not Christians, what do? They want to talk to you about meaning of life, the meaning, instilling meaning. Here's what I'll do in practical terms. I'll ask you questions. We're going to do a lot of intake. Where are you coming from? What happened to you? How are you processing it? Why are you here? What hasn't worked? What worked? I'm going to go all there. And I'm looking for a turning point. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something. Oftentimes, especially those who are coming from suicide attempts, they tried to kill themselves. They didn't succeed. They're still thinking about it. Oftentimes, there's something that is holding them, or even those who haven't attempted, but they are thinking, there's something that is holding them. So that's what I'm looking for. Could be a child. It could be, for those who live in the third world, it could be a pet. It could be marriage. It could be the fear of going to hell. It could be parents. It could be whatever it is. I'm looking for it as I'm asking questions, because that's where I'm going to go at the end of the intake and gathering information. I'm going to ask you to talk to me about your child. Talk to me about your dog. What do you think would happen to your dog if you die? What happens to your child if you die? What would happen to your vision if you die? And I go in there. I'm going to use it. And then we are going to segue back into me stabilizing. Once I've highlighted that, I say, okay, how many children do you have? And the person says, I have just a daughter. How old is she? She's 5 years old. Do you have a picture? Often people have pictures on their phone. So I'm trying to paint a picture. Maybe she hasn't looked at the child. Maybe he has. And then I'll say, lovely, beautiful kid, beautiful. She's pretty. So, Mr. John, what do you think would happen to Jenny if anything happens if you're no longer here? Oftentimes, Mr. John would say, that's really why I haven't killed myself. Because I don't know she's going to suffer. And then we'll build on that. So, would you want to be alive to take care of Jenny because of Jenny? Absolutely, I want to be alive, but I don't know how to. Then we go to how to begin to manage the present stress. I have highlighted meaning. It could be that I found out that Mr. John is very devout Christian. And I might say, Mr. John, if you kill yourself, where do you think you'll go? And that's if I know that Mr. John is afraid of going to hell. Like he doesn't want to go to hell. I'll say, Mr. John, those who kill themselves, what does your religion say would happen to them? And Mr. John would say, well, they go to hell. And I'll say, Mr. John, I'm sure you don't want to go to hell. So if there's something that I can do to kind of work with you so we can get out of this bad spot, would you want to work with me? And Mr. John would say, okay, I've tried everything, but okay. Or maybe Mr. John will not say anything. Then we go to regimen. I want to remove whatever the stressor is. And I'm not talking about the trauma. Because the trauma may have happened years ago. I'm talking about the immediate stressor. What is Mr. John dealing with today that is stressing him, that is making him want to kill himself? John, what's the problem? I'm going to be evicted tomorrow. I'm about to lose my apartment. I'm about to lose my house. I lost my job. I lost XYZ. We highlight and identify the stressor. Okay? Mr. John, I want you to partner with me. We're going to work on this. We're going to work on this. It's going to take a slow process. I'm going to tell you a few things to do so that you can regain your strength. That's the first thing that I'm going to recommend to this John. I'm going to work with this John to regain strength, to de-stress. I'm going to teach him stress management skills. And there are so many of those things he can do. One could be reading exercise. It could be taking a walk. That's my go-to recommendation for those who are going through trauma, for those who are there. My go-to recommendation is to get them to do mild activities, no matter how little. That's one. Get them to do mild activities. Get them to relax. Listen to music. Talk to people that you love. Take a walk outside. Go see nature. Play with your pet. Play with your. I had one this week that what I recommended because she had no strength. What I recommended for her was to go outside the yard. Outside they have a yard at the backyard. To go and play with your 6-year-old daughter. Can you do that for me? I said, yeah, we do that all the time. I haven't done that in the last 1 or 2 months. Okay, let's do that now. Do you think she would like to play with you? My client said, yes. Okay, let's start there. Whatever you do with her inside, let's go outside. Play catch. Play whatever. You throw the ball to her, she throws it to you. Whatever, just do something. That's the escalating and distressing. That's what I'm wanting her to do. Right? If they don't have a child, I might say, take a walk for 30 minutes. If they are physically okay. But if they're not physically okay, I might say, listen to music. Then I'll go to self-care. Take care of yourself. When was the last time you took a shower? Now, those who are usually in this dark spot, I just talked to one yesterday. She said that sometimes for 2 weeks, she doesn't take a shower. She told me she took a shower that morning because she was coming to see me. And she didn't want to be gross. That's what she said. She didn't want to be gross, that she hadn't taken a shower for a while. So my recommendation is, I want you to take a shower just like you did today. Let's do it again tomorrow morning. 3 days in a row, we're going to take a shower in the morning. And then we're going to make up. If you like making up, we're going to put on our dress as if we're going out. And these are little things, but they have a way to validate our humanness, to tell us that there's something still in us. So we do that. And then we want to do what we call happiness habits. It's more like the stressing, but happiness habits would be going to do things that you enjoy doing. Now, the other one, taking a walk, you may not enjoy it. I just want you to get out of your room, get out of your house, get out of the routine you've had since you've been depressed or since you've been going through this. And that's all I want to accomplish. The next level is let's do things you like to do. You like shopping, you don't have money, go do the shopping. You like talking to people, talk to your best friend. You like going to church, praise and worship, go to all night tonight. Go do something in the church. Go do something that you like to do. You have a little bit of money, go eat. What's your favorite restaurant? Let's go back there. What's your favorite member of the family? Let's do something to get back. That's cultivating happiness habits. The things that we used to enjoy, that we've abandoned all this while, that we are hopeless, we need to get back to it. We're trying to trick the brain into remembering who we were before. That's all this is about. Trick the brain to remember that these are the things that we used to enjoy. These are the things that makes us who we are. These are the things that make us click. We go back there. And then we go into what I call inspired action, meaning the meaning of life. Cultivating more positive feelings can help us build a hopeful mindset, but remembering the things that gave us meaning. But John, what gives you meaning? Oh, I used to volunteer at the animal shelter. I haven't done that in the last year because I really haven't had the strength to do that. For Mr. Does that mean, Mr. John, do you love animals? yet I love animals. So, Mr. John, we're going to call them the shelter and schedule a time for you to volunteer. Get back to volunteering. Remember, the first one is things that make you happy, things that give you pleasure. That's the second one. The first one is things that you may not like, but I want you to get out of the house. Start doing something. Second one is things that make you happy. The third one is things that give you meaning of life. It may be going to hospital, it may be going to evangelism, it may be whatever it is that gives you meaning. Let's get back to it. For Mr. John, he was volunteering at the animal shelter, taking care of animals. So, Mr. John, you're going to do this 3 hours, 3 times a week. Again, we're trying to get back to what we used to do. Now, the third one is networking. You know, when people are sick, one of the factors that help to maintain resiliency is what we call the human factor, connecting with people. When people are sick, they disconnect with people, they disconnect with things, they disconnect with life, they isolate to themselves, they even disconnect from themselves. So getting back hope is reconnecting with supportive group or person. Who do you love talking to? Who is the most supportive person for you? Who has helped you in this journey? Oh, my friend Jenny. How does Jenny help you? Jenny doesn't judge me. Jenny understands what I'm going through. Jenny just knows what to say to me that makes me feel better. Okay. Would you like to talk to Jenny? Yep, Jenny has been calling me. I haven't been answering Jenny's call. Okay, do you want us to call Jenny here now? I might do that if I feel that it's essential, it's necessary, or if I feel that my client is not going to do it. I'll get permission from him or her, and we'll call Jenny. And I'll talk to Jenny. I say, Jenny, Mr. John has been sick for a while. He hasn't been able to call you, but I want us to reconnect. I want you and Mr. John to reconnect. Mr. John wants to start talking to you. So I'm kind of clearing the road for reconnect Jenny with John or John with Jenny. I might say, what about groups? Mr. John says, I have nobody, I have no friend. That's part of my problem. I find a supportive group. If they're dealing with depression, for instance, you go on Facebook and Google depression groups. You're going to find hundreds of them. Depression supportive group, mental health supportive group, substance abuse supportive group. You're going to pull a lot of them. I'm not saying join all of them. I'm saying see what they believe. Go through them. And I'm going to give Mr. John maybe 5 of them. And I say, Mr. John, go review this and see which one resonates with you. Whichever one resonates with you, Mr. John, don't join them yet. Just watch for the next 1 week. Listen to them. You know what? Reconnecting with people has a way of healing us. I do mental health group therapy. I can tell you that when patients are in psychiatric hospital, you ask them what has helped you the most. 90% of them will tell you the group therapy. And it's not the therapist. It's not what the therapist did or what he's doing. It is often the fact that they are hearing people like them talking about what they're going through. Again, that gives them hope. It makes them to think, oh, if Jennifer has been dealing with psychosis or depression for the last 20 years and Jennifer is still here, I can do it. If John lost his mom and dad, and John is an orphan, and John has gone through that grief, and John is here talking live, I can do it. It also teaches them that how to get out of the funk. Because in the group therapy, a good therapist would facilitate the members of the group talking about their experience, how they overcame, what their challenges are, how they are dealing with it. And as they are doing it, iron begins to sharpen iron. So I would connect the person to a support group, the right one. There are some you connect and it will become a problem. Would connect the person to a support group. Remember, the first one is I will get the person going by giving them things to do to get out of the room, get out of the phone, the darkness, the lying on bed, the staying in your room. Second one, will find things that they enjoy doing. Third one, will find things that give them meaning. And fourth one, will connect the person to people, supportive people. And finally, we will eliminate obstacles, challenges. Mr. John wants to go to fellowship. Mr. John has no right. Mr. John has no money. Mr. John has nobody to take him to church fellowship. We're gonna brainstorm, we're gonna problem solve, find a way, remove obstacles why Mr. John does not go to church, even though he wants to go to church. Remove obstacles why he doesn't go to the to the animal shelter, even though he wants to do that. Because if you don't remove the obstacle, it's not gonna go. And then we give it time. So Mr. John comes next week, we review the assignment. Mr. John, I asked you to go out, or Mrs. John, I asked you to go out to the backyard and play with your kids. Tell me, did you do that? How did it go? And then we talk about that. What about the animal shelter? How did it go? We talk about that. What about the support group? What's your experience? We talk about that. If whichever one didn't work, I replace options, other things you can do. Play at the backyard didn't work. What about take the dog, walk the dog, do something? We replace that. And then we come back. When this is done 1-2 weeks, when Mr. John is stabilized, we come back to spirituality. We come back to talking about God, whether God failed you or didn't fail you or not. So when there's that combo of inspiring the person, energizing the person with spirituality and meaning, that reveals hope, sustainable hope, not fleeting hope, sustainable hope, because we're getting Mr. John back to life so that Mr. John can begin to see life from how she saw life before the trauma or before all this happened. And that's how we begin to rebuild hope. The journey, the exploration of spirituality, for me, would include the exploration of strength. Often when people are feeling hopeless, we're going to talk about what gives you hope. What are your strengths? What have you done well? What do people talk about you? I just did this yesterday to a kid, a 16-year-old girl, and I asked her, what are your values? She said, I don't have any. I've forgotten all those things. I'm not even thinking about values now. So I said, okay, what do your people, your friends talk about you? What do they say you're good at? And she thought for a while, and it took her a while. That's how far away she's gone mentally from her values and from things that are valuable to her. She thought for a while, and then she came back and she said, my friends talk about me, say I am honest. And I asked her, is that a value you like to project? She said, absolutely. I want to be honest. I want people to trust me. So we zero down on that. Can you be honest with yourself? Would you really say that God hasn't been good to you? And then we explored all that strength that Mr. John had. The goal is to tell Mr. John, you're not really useless and valueless. There's something in you. There's something about you. There's something you owe the world. There are people whom you've touched. There are things whom you've done. We are now counting Mr. John's blessings and things he's done in the past. This is a slow process. Healing, becoming hopeless, it's a slow process. Healing from hopelessness is also a slow process. So we gotta be patient. Sometimes there's a step forward and 2 steps backward, but we have to factor relapse as part of the journey of healing from hopelessness. It's part of the journey. Your goal is to be the cheerleader. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. When we gain hope back, then our therapeutic recommendations, the things we tell Mr. John to do, he has the strength to do it because now he wants to live. So the question becomes, what can I do to be alive? Then that's when I kick in as a therapist. We now talk about why you got where you were. What were the factors that got you there? We talk about the trauma. We talk about perhaps alcoholism or addiction. We talk about things that put you down or that got you there. And it's usually effective. Healing from hopelessness is a skill that every helping hand, actually every leader, has to factor in. You have to get people out of the dark spot before you can get them into light. Thank you. And if you're here and you are interested in helping those who are suffering from addiction, from mental illness, or from any of the things we've talked about, those who have attempted us or are suicidal, I encourage you to think about registering for our course, the Certified Mental Health and Addiction Counseling course. It's a 14-week course, starting from January till May. Every other week, in a week, we meet 2 times for about 2 to 3 hours. We talk about what's addiction. We talk about the connection between addiction and family, how the family makes people go into addiction, and how the family also helps people get out of addiction. Then we talk about how to set up addiction rehabilitation centers, how to become an addiction counselor. And we've added recently suicide prevention and peer. We are also going to add how to take care of victims of domestic violence. And finally, this year, we're going to do a whole session on relapse prevention, which is basically hundreds and hundreds of tools, the things you can use to help those who are sick, whether it's tools to use to manage their emotion, or tools to use to restructure their thinking, or things to use to kind of modify behavior. All those tools we will then invest on. So if you're here, you're interested, please chime in your name, type in your name, I am interested, and our staffs here will reach out to you. If you're a member of TINFA, you know how to reach us, and you're interested in this. But these things we talk about, we will harmonize it. We will really give you tools on how to manage those who are suffering from mental illness or those who are dealing with addiction. Thank you. I will spend about 5 minutes and answer questions if you have one. Otherwise, we will round up in 5 minutes. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has given you a little bit of insight on how to heal from hopelessness. If you are self-medicating, in other words, you are the one who is hopeless and you're wanting to help yourself, follow the same regimen. First thing you want to do is get out of the bed, get out of the room, get out of your isolation. Go do something that you don't feel like doing. Second thing you want to do is go play, do something that is fun. Reconnect with things that give you meaning. And for all of us, it's different. For some of us, it's spirituality, religious activities. That's what gives us meaning. For some of us, it's nature. For some of us, it's whatever it is. For some of us, it's writing, journaling. Whatever it is, get back to it. Connect with people that validate you, that make you human. That's essential. We are human, and we thrive by connection and relationship. We don't thrive by isolation. No matter how much you don't like people, find the right people. That's the key. Surround yourself with supportive people, and then remove whatever thing that is causing the problem. Could be addiction to alcohol, could be drugs, could be work, could be sex, Whatever it is, could be relationship. For a lot of people, it's relationship. Whatever it is that is causing the stress, remove it. Get away from it, and you'll be okay. So that's where we are. Anyone, if you're interested, reach out to us. Our numbers are written on the chat. We also have a link. Follow the link, and you will join our WhatsApp group, and they will explain more the process. Whatever question you have about our courses will be explained a little bit in details more there. Somebody says, thanks to you, sir. That's a pastor. Thank you, sir. Today the topic was very impressive and elevated, sir. Thank you. That's what I want to do. That's the goal. The goal is to give you tools to help those who you are helping, to help those who you are serving. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions, comments before we go?